This video is rated 18, suitable only for persons of 18 and over.
I have you.
Hello YouTube, LJ Draco here. Yes, as you can see, this is another video. It is my complete Blu-ray collection, shelf 12. So this is still continuing on my horror shelf. I've still got 2 more shelves to show after this, and then I'm done. But let's just start off this video with today's arrival, which is actually belongs on the previous shelf, but I didn't have this edition of it first. Now the actual Blu-ray is on the shelf. This is just the empty box with certain things it comes with. I'm not going to go into too much detail of what it actually comes with. But I did manage to actually pick up for cheap the limited edition Arrow box for the Hills of Eyes 1, brand new seal, a very, very affordable price. Roughly around the same price it cost me for the second one and for the Robocop, so very affordable. And it was sealed, so it did come with its book, and it also came with the lovely poster. So that now obviously goes onto the shelf with that. So let's start off. This shelf is actually, it's hard to explain because my horror shelves go in a very specific way. So I've got my Arrow films, which I know not all of them are horror, as you guys have seen, and my Scream Factories, which at least one of those are not classed as horror. Well, to me personally, it kind of is. And then it goes into, which is the next one. This is what starts off that shelf. Actually, is my Monsters classic set, which comes in this big chunky case, and it also comes with this little book on information. I know there's a better set out there, but I really don't give a damn about the better set too much. I just care about the films. Same as I don't really particularly care about the individual complete sets of all the films. Eventually I will get those, but this was actually a really cheap price, and just to kind of sit down and watch these. I know there's a couple of these that I've seen already, like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, I've definitely seen. But like Dracula, Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, I've not seen The Mummy. I've not seen any of them. So to sit down and watch these for the first time with Alice, that's why I got them. It's just to kind of watch the nostalgic horror movie, which started the whole horror craze for film. So I wanted to get those to show her. So that's what starts off this shelf. So as I was saying, this shelf is basically just like franchising collections of some of my favourite horror characters, and then it goes into like some of the solo, but a couple of sequels of other films, if that makes sense. You'll get the when I'm going through them, you'll kind of see what I mean. Okay, so first up we have the complete A Nightmare on Elm Street collection. This is 7 films spread between I think 4 discs. The 5th disc is actually a DVD, which is all the special features, which is kind of weird for me, but I do love all these movies. I don't specifically hate any of these movies. My favourite will always be Wes Craven's A New Nightmare, just because of how it brings out the Freddy Krueger character into the real world. And then there's also the remake star. I always forget his name. Is it Jackie Earle Haley? I think he's the guy that plays Rorschach in Watchmen. This is not a bad film. Let me get this straight. This is not a bad film. This is not a good Nightmare on Elm Street film. I will 100% agree. But it's not a bad film. It is enjoyable. It's still got scary aspects. A lot of modern day people aren't going to appreciate or enjoy what the original Freddy Krueger had to offer, which we all love. Robert Englund, one of our favourite horror icons of all time. You know, not a lot of younger born people coming into movies is not going to appreciate what they had to offer as much as if they'd seen this one probably first. You know, but it's not a bad film. It's okay. I still enjoy watching it now and then. Right, so normally I like having these in the order of how they should be watched. However, it's kind of hard to do that with this next set of films. So they're just in alphabetical for me. Freddy vs. Jason, one of the best mashup movies, like one of the best versus movies. I'm still a fan of another versus movie, which will also be in this video, but this is actually really incredible. Fun video, Robert Englund doing his best. And I love how they got these two together, and the way they done this story is absolutely amazing as well. Really, really enjoyable. Obviously, coming up next is the 8-movie Friday 13th collection. This is actually a really good collection. The transfers on these are pretty enjoyable. They look good, and I will admit, for the first two you know the line by now. I ain't editing this shit out. It's too funny. That sound is so scripted. Ah! That sounded way too scripted. I ain't editing this shit out. It sounds too funny. Oh, you need a used car? Buy here. Anyway, I don't know what's going on now. The first two Friday 13th movies, I wasn't overly keen on when I watched them. But then after watching them, I sat there and thought about the story. And then I just started appreciating them more and more, to the point where I am going to actually recheck all these movies. So this only goes up to Jason Takes Manhattan. This is not including Jason X. This is not including Jason Goes to Hell. Which sucks, because I'd like one day for there to be a release where, an affordable release I should say, where it actually contains all Friday 13th movies, which would be good. But yeah, it's actually a good set. Yet again, slightly miffed that the first film is on a blue disc. And I know apparently the reason is because this one was done by Warner Brothers and the rest were all done by Paramount, but still, you could have made it red. Or you could have made the others blue. You could have just done something. Now, Friday the 13th, this is, I can't remember the correct term for this. It's not a sequel, and it's not a reboot. I don't know if it's I think it's a reboot. It's not a remake. It's not to take away from the original film. It's a reboot. It's to try and bring people back into the franchise. And I'm not gonna lie, I freaking love what they did with this movie. I love the quick synopsis, or the quick recap at the beginning of what happened with Jason and his mom and what's going on there. But I love this version of Jason. I think he is freaking amazing. I think he's entertaining as hell. I love the way... I can't get into details, but this Jason is like the horror Rambo. Let's just put it that way. It's actually an entertaining film. Next up, we've got Halloween, one of the best... I still say this isn't a horror. I still say this is like a thriller, because you're not horrified by what happened. It's more of the thrill. Like, you're sitting there and then he's just standing behind the bushes staring. That's chilling. You know, that's not horrific. But still one of the best movies in the whole horror category. So as I go diving into all of these, just to remind everyone who doesn't know me and that didn't know me for a while, and you know you knew, why is this camera way too high still? I've just noticed that I've just been cutting off half my face like that. It's actually a good thing. It's a good thing. No, but I used to be a huge horror fan. I'm obsessed with horror. And I say this all the time. If you don't believe that, please go and check out my old videos back from like 2013, 2014, where I did like my complete horror DVD collection, which was like an hour or so plus long. It's a really bad quality video, but you still see just the gist of what I was showing in it. I was obsessed with horror. It was my favourite category, and still is. But there was a good 3 or 4 years where I could not watch horror films because it was affecting my heart. I had a bad heart problem. And just the idea of watching anything that had like jumps or stuff would shock my heart. I'd go into like a little fritz and I'd have to call an ambulance out, which wasn't worth it. So I stayed away from the horror movies. Like, I hardly owned any horror films for like 3 or 4 years. No horror DVDs, no horror Blu-rays. I stayed away from... I couldn't even own my favourites. I couldn't own Silent Hill. I couldn't own Descent. I couldn't own Stir of Echoes. Because of the fact that there were some scenes in these movies that would make me jolt. And it sucked. But over the past, I'd say 2 years now. I'd say, giving that 2, nearly 3 years. My heart's been getting better due to losing weight. Which I know, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like I am. But I know I am. I know I am. I'm working hard. I'm exercising again. I had to have a short break from exercising due to everyone who knows. I was in hospital. It wasn't for long. It was only for like a day, but I had a really bad thing going on my leg. Due to that, I couldn't stand up for too long. I couldn't walk. And I couldn't obviously stand and lift weights or do much exercise, because any kind of pressure that went on that leg could send me back in hospital and actually could have resulted in me possibly losing that leg. So I had to, you know, so I'm back on it now, and I'm doing much better, and I feel better, and my heart's getting better, which is the main thing. So sorry about that complete distraction for what we're talking about, but I'm just saying I was and still am a huge horror fan, and I'm hoping to get my horror collection back up as much as I can. And the best way to show people how much of a true horror fan I am. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm the best, because I haven't watched every possible horror film, including a lot of great classic horror films, and including a lot of like modern shit horror films. I haven't watched them all. Why? Because I've had other movies to watch. As much as this is one of my favourite genres, and probably is my favourite genre, I still have my 3D Blu-rays to watch. I still have Disney and Marvel films. So I still love watching other films. I can't just watch horror all the time. And I'll get into that yet again when I do that video. But I am doing a video which is the great and the good and the bad of being a horror fan. And I'll leave it there. But if you guys want to see that video, just let me know in the comments that you would like to see that kind of video, because I am looking forward to doing it, because there's a lot I want to say about it. Anyway, stop delaying the freaking video. Right, so Halloween was last time. Halloween 2. Great sequel. Not as bad as I thought this was going to be. Halloween 3. This is exactly why I did love and still do love horror. I love how they did exactly what I would love certain other movies to do. They were not trying to continue one person's story. They were trying to do different tales with the title of Halloween. And they were just trying to do different storylines for different characters. And I love the direction they took with this. But people were like, no, bring back Michael. And look what happened. Look what happened. Right. I'm missing a lot of Halloween movies from this collection. And one day I know I'll complete this set. And I look forward to it. But I have got a couple more. So, Halloween, this is the 2018-2019 movie. This is a custom sleeve done by my friend Sasha, because I actually just got the disc-only copy, which was taken from a US 4K of it. This is actually one of my favourite Halloween movies out of all of them. There's a lot going on in this. And you can watch Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and then straight away to this. You can skip, well, you can still watch Halloween 3. But if you want to complete an actual decent Michael Myers story, watch Halloween 1, 2, this, then Halloween 3, just for an interesting horror movie. And you can skip every other Halloween movie. But this is actually really good. I enjoyed that a lot better. And there was a lot more darkness to Michael in this film. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but you know what? I don't care, because I like to be honest. This is the Rob Zombie Halloween movie. And I love this more than people think I do. People think that I should hate it, but guess what? I don't. Why? Because this shows us a lot more about why Michael went crazy. And this actually makes more fucking sense to why Michael went crazy compared to the original Halloween. Now, the original Halloween will still be the definitive version of a Halloween movie ever to exist. However, if you look at the beginning of the original Halloween, Michael looks like he was a spoiled rich kid who just was crazy. Which, fair enough, can be entertaining when you think about that. But this shows why Michael went insane. And to see this story and to go, shit, now wonder why he does what he does. Yeah, I actually really love this movie. I think this movie had a lot to give us. And I think it's very underrated. This is definitely in my top, 3 favourite Halloween movies. However, I see yet again, because I love Rob Zombie. I think Rob Zombie does some great work. However, this... Dude, what were you doing? No. No. I'm not even saying, just no. Just no. Right, this next batch of movies, me and Alice are currently doing a marathon. And this video is going to be longer than it's supposed to be, damn. We're doing a marathon. And we've just started watching these. I'll get into it. So, Prometheus, which we both love. We think this is actually a great prequel and opened up some really amazing questions that we would have liked to have seen answered. Interesting story, interesting characters. And the ending left us going, we want more. Now, normally with prequels or sequels, we kind of go, yeah, that's it. We don't want to see it again. But this was like, shit, yeah, bring us more. So we really loved that movie. Then we go on to Covenant, and this is where I draw the line at maybe they should have just stopped. Alice enjoys this film. I think there's some good action sequences and a good cast, but the film itself was a complete letdown to Prometheus. It completely destroyed and ruined what Prometheus was trying to give us, and because of that, it makes the film just so unenjoyable, you know? Then we've got Alien, one of the best and classic movies in the franchise, the thing that started it all. We then have Aliens, my personal favourite. Now, we started watching this last night, however, we were already very tired and ill. So we've paused it. We know where we've left off. I mean, I've seen all of these before, she hasn't. But we're going to continue watching this tonight, and it will be followed by Alien 3, which... I mean, I'm not going to lie, I think all these Alien films are entertaining. I don't think they're all as bad as people say they are. I think they're still entertaining. There's still Xenomorphs. Alien Resurrection, which I know people's worst, but yeah. Right, Predator, great action horror movie with Stallone. Which yet again, I didn't think the Predator movies were horrors until I looked up their genre, and horror is one of the main first or second taglines it gets given under its genre. Predator 2, an actual decent sequel which I'd never seen before, and I was like, why hadn't I? It's actually really good. Predators, my favourite. Sorry, I prefer this to all three of them. Adrian Brody is actually a badass action star. He should have done more action. AVP, yet again, another movie, which is the other Versus movie that I said I actually really love. This, if you completely dismiss the whole Aliens and Predator storyline and just watch this as an alternate timeline where shit gets real, this movie is actually really amazing. It's a fun movie. I don't get why people don't like it. However, AVP 2 just should not have been made. They should have just left it. They shouldn't have even done the ending for AVP that leads into that. They should have just left it. Right, I do not own any of the original films to these. I only own the sequels, which sucks, but I will be getting the originals soon. I just wanted to own these individually. Bride of Chucky, enjoyable film, absolutely hilarious. Seed of Chucky, as bad as the story is for this, it's fucking hilarious. I can't stop laughing at it, so I own it. Curse of Chucky, which I've changed angles for some reason. Not particularly keen on this one. I'm just going to start putting them here because it's too annoying now. Cult of Chucky, did not enjoy at all. I literally, I felt so bored watching it. I didn't think anything was interesting about that film. The last two just kind of felt, well, and I don't own the new one either, and I don't want to. I love Mark Hamill, but I don't want to own the new one. Right. Oh, I keep smacking my bloody camera. Stephen King's It. This is the original miniseries turned movie. Tim Curry, It. This is actually my favourite version of It. Now, I love the modern 2, chapters 1 and 2. I think they're amazing. But after watching this, there is just something about Pennywise and the actors that this just felt more believable. This didn't feel like just a story. It felt like a documentary of what the hell was going on in all their lives and how this stuff was happening. This is my favourite version. Very long, but very enjoyable. And then obviously, as I said, It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. These are still very enjoyable movies. I will still watch these probably quite a few times. I've watched It 2 about 3 times already. And I've watched this about twice. Don't ask me why I've watched the second one more than the first. But yeah, but to be honest, I think you could actually watch all 3 of these. You could watch this one and then these 2, and it wouldn't feel like you've watched the same film. It doesn't feel like that, so that's why I like all 3. So that is Shelf 12. Man, 20 minutes long. This is supposed to be like 10 minutes. I talk too much. I'm sorry. Shelf 13 and 14 will not be that long, I promise. Anyway, that is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Now, I am recording another video after this, and I hope you look forward to it. But as I said, if you want to see my the good and bads of being, or the good and bad of being a horror fan video, let me know in the comments below, and I will do that video. Anyway, take care, you wonderful, wonderful people, and I shall see you next time.